Hi, friends, and welcome to the Friendly Show. This is your friend and host, Lee. Nope, I'm on episode 90 and I still get it wrong. I am your host and friend, Lee. Oh, goodness gracious. I hope you guys are having an incredible week. Fall is right around the corner. This is the last week of summer. So, today we are going to be talking about happy now. So it's all based on this book. We're doing this in book club, The Power of Now. It's really about being in the moment. And because this moment that we have right in front of us is really the only moment that we have. And so we're going to be talking about the happy pillar partnerships today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a little bit of information that I have put together for you guys, some tips and some things just to think about, and then things to talk about. And then what we will do is we will have the portion where you become part of the show. And so if you are watching on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, I believe LinkedIn did not work today. So, but if you're watching on LinkedIn, great, it worked. And if you comment live, we record every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. If you are commenting live, then you will be a part of the show. I'll bring your comment up and we'll talk about whatever you said, whether you shared your experience, your ideas, a question, or just a comment. So let's start with why is it important to be mindful and to be in the moment, especially when we're talking about partnerships. And in the happy framework, when we're talking about partnerships, we're talking about all connection we have with another person. So it's not just our significant others or our immediate family, but it's also with people in passing, people when you're in an elevator, people when you're on a walk, your barista, anybody that you're in connection with or you're in passing in that moment, you are in partnership with that person. And why it's so important is it really does deepen connections. And I want to share, it was really interesting because I did the half marathon on Sunday in Windsor. And I spent a lot of time connecting with people on the trail. So I was, cheering people on, and people that I saw were, struggling. I was trying to help them, get that motivation to keep going, because really it's a mental game. Your physical body can handle it. You can do a marathon. You can do a half marathon. It's the mental part of can I do this? Your mind is going to stop you from doing the half marathon, and your mind's going to stop you from doing a lot of things in this world. And if you can learn to control your mind, you can truly achieve just about anything. And so I was really spending a lot of time connecting with people to be able to get them outside of their mind and into their body. And we can do this. You can go. And that was the only reason why I was able to do that, is because I was able to be in the moment, like just right there with that person, feeling their energy, watching their wincing, watching their smiles, watching all of that. And what was cool is, I would talk to these people and then I would go on my way. But then there were always there was 1, 2, 3 turns in this race. And so I got to see a lot of those people that I had connected with on the first half of the trail. I got to see them again at the next turn. And a lot of them remembered me. And it was like they were looking for me because they were down and wincing and like trying to get through. And then they would like kind of look up. And when they saw me coming, I watched them and they looked for me to cheer them back on for that moment. And that was building connection with those people. Now, am I ever going to see those people again? Maybe not. Will they ever be able to like thank me for that? No, that's not why you build connection with people. You don't build connection with people so then they can give you something or you can benefit from it. We do it because it really is our purpose. We're meant to be in community with one another, and we're meant to be able to be part of other people's journeys. Whether it's in a big part or a little part, we're meant to be, when you're in passing or in connection with somebody, you are meant to be in passing and connection with that person. So if we're able to be in the moment, then we don't lose that moment. You know, we see a lot of, people on the phone and they're texting and they are missing out on so many micro connections, so many micro relationships, so many micro opportunities to build friendships. We have a big loneliness epidemic right now, that everybody's feeling alone, that they can't make friends and that they can't connect with people. And really, they're stopping themselves, because you can make friends. You can connect with people if you care enough to be in the moment and to fully connect, smile, say something, look up from your phone and be with that person in that moment. And the moment will pass you by, right? If you're walking by somebody, you only have that moment to be able to say hi. When you're working with a barista and they're giving you your drink, you only have that moment. And so, one of the things that you can be doing by being mindful and being in the moment is to just create the habit of saying hello to everyone you see. Just create the habit of saying hello to everybody you see, and not for them to say hi back to you, not for them to be your best friend or your possible significant other. That's not what the goal is. It's just to let people know that they're seen, and for you to be able to know that you're seeing people, that you're out, that there are people out there. And when you smile and say hello to somebody and they smile back at you and say hello, that is telling your brain that you live in a safe, welcoming world. Now, if you're always on your phone and always having your head down and you're not making eye contact with people, you're not getting that reinforcement every day. You're not getting the brain connection with that person. And so yes, at the end of the day, are going to feel like you're alone and there's nobody in the world and it's not a welcoming world. But you get to make that first move. And the other thing is that I've said this on the show before, but I'm going to say it again because it bears repeating, is most people do not wave at people. Most people do not say hi to strangers, but also most people will wave back at people, and most people will say hi back to people. So if you can be the person that says it first, then you're going to be able to 80% of the time be able to get that back. So that's where the true connection happens, is when we're present in that moment that is just fleeting. And what we also need to do when we're working with connections that we already have, so friendships, family, all of that kind of thing, being in the moment allows us to stay away from resentment. It allows us to stay away from anxiety, because anxiety, that only exists in the future. When we right now are in the future, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? This is going to be bad. This is going to be, I'm scared. What's the future hold? That's anxiety, right? Resentment is when we're thinking about the past. They did me wrong. How dare they? Who were they to do this? That's in the past. In this moment, if you're not worried about the future or thinking about the past, then you're not going to be holding resentment. You're not going to be holding anger. You're not going to be holding anxiety. The main thing that you can hold in this moment is love, because that's what we're all meant for. That's what we're built for. That's what's in us, is love. And if we don't have any of this mind thing around it about what the future or anything that holds, then we're, oh yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay. So, it's okay. So, anyway, so if we're able to stay, am I in your way? Okay. So if we're able to stay in this moment, then we're not going to hold all those other feelings. And then we're going to be able to build the relationships that we're having a lot more deeply. when I'm here, it is really easy to go into that future fear, worry, what's going to happen, what does this mean, all of that. And when we do that, oh yeah, you can't, it only goes to here, so you can't yet. So so when you're here, you're in that constant fear of what's the next thing, what's going to happen, what does the future look like, and then you get an anxiety and you're not able to be fully present with the people that you're with, right? If you're getting upset or regretful about things that have happened in the past, in that moment you're thinking about the past, you're not with that person in the future, in the present. So that's what's going to be able to deepen our relationships. That's going to be able to deepen our connections. It's very easy here. You see a lot of people in the hallways and in the elevators and the stairway outside, all of this. It's very easy for you to stay tunnel vision just to go to the room that you're going to, and that's it. We have made a lot of friends outside. There's a lot of people. Oh, there we go. There's a lot of people that know us, that, we're not best friends. We don't share phone numbers. We're not going to see each other outside. Although Jennifer has made friends that she now has people that she met at the other hospital. They come and visit her here. And that is because you're in the moment, right? You could be really, into any of those other feelings that reside outside of this 1 second, and you're going to miss a lot of amazing opportunities. So the other thing is that if we are listening, when we're talking to people, if we're listening to what they're saying and thinking about in the future, now just 30 seconds in the future, what am I going to say? How am I going to respond? How am I going to react? If you're thinking about that, you're not present and you're not actively listening to that person. And the other person can feel that. And when that's happening, you're losing that emotional bond. And you might feel like, yeah, my wife or my friend, they talk all the time, but I just don't feel close to them. That's why. Or they might, on the other hand, oh, they seem like they're listening, but it just doesn't, I don't feel connected. And that's why. So we can listen, but if we're not actively listening in the moment, we're not building that emotional bond. So being mindful in the moment, and it's so hard because we always want to try to protect ourselves and think about the future, right? But this is the only time that this is the only time that we really have, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share some of that. Now we can talk about it. So we're going to see who's here and we can talk about all of that. No, excellent. Thank you so much. The other thing is there was a study, and I'm just going to leave you guys with this, and then we'll go over to see where everybody's at. There was a study that said that 70% of conflicts aren't solvable. Okay, so 70% of conflicts aren't solvable. Presence and repair matter more. So we are not going to be able to fix every conflict, but if we're able to be present and listening to what's happening, that is what's going to matter. How we handle it, and when we're in that moment, we don't have to agree on everything. We don't need to fix everything, but we need to be present in the uncomfortable conversations, and in the conflict we have to be calm and present, and we're not able to be calm if we're not present. So let us see who is here. So Pops is here and he says, part of the show like this? Yes, I'm so happy you're here. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so what are you thinking, Pops? Do you agree with all of this? Do you find, are there moments that even like you and Mel have a pretty darn good marriage, but do you find yourself, do you catch yourself just kind of not being in the moment? And she's like, are you even listening? Does that happen to you guys? I would imagine it does. It might not. Maybe you guys have like really cracked the code. But the other thing that I want to share with that is that if your significant other, I want to give you just an example. If your significant other says something and you nod off, or you're daydreaming, or you're thinking about something else, and then they're like, "Are you even listening to me?" If you weren't listening to them, don't lie. Don't say, yeah, I heard you. Say, "You know what? I am so sorry. I just totally got like sidetracked on another thought. Can you please repeat what you just said?" Right? If we're able to say, "You know what? Yeah, I just had a total human experience," because that's all it is. You didn't make a mistake. You went into a daydream, or you thought about something else and you weren't able to hear it. But don't pretend that you can hear it, because those micro lies, you think that they're little white lies like, "Oh, I want her to think that I'm always thinking about her or listening to her or in the moment." If you're not, they know. And in your subconscious, you're like, "Oh, God, he's just lying, or she's lying." Even if it's not a big lie, we know the truth. And so you want to make sure that you're always in the moment. And if you fall out of the moment, just be honest about it and then get back in and then have the conversation. That little fix can fix so many conflicts, arguments, misunderstandings, confusions in relationships. Um, okay. So let's do this. Let us do the lightning round. So I think there's only a couple of you guys. Britt's the only one that's commenting. There's only a couple of you guys watching, which is okay. A lot of you guys watching the replay. So if you are watching this in the replay, pretend you're watching live and play along. So we're going to do a lightning round. And we're just going to do 3 questions. Okay. Get to know your friends a little bit more on the Friendly Show. So the first question is, who makes you feel most seen when you're with them? Who makes you feel most seen when you're with them? Number 2 is, when was the last time you truly listened without interrupting? That's going to be a hard one for me. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so number 2 is, when was the last time you truly listened without interrupting? And then number 3 is, what's a presence practice you'd love to try with your partner or a friend? Okay. So, presence practice is like what can you do to practice being present? Can you maybe make eye contact a little bit more with the person and like tell them, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we connect and just look at each other, just even for 5 seconds. Like, just let's look in each other's eyes." Um you can practice the 3-second pause. You can practice that when somebody says something and you're listening deeply, that instead of responding, you just wait and say, and take just 3 seconds to pause and think about the way that you're going to respond. Because if you do that, the person that's listening to you realizes that, "Oh, wow, you were really listening to me because you weren't getting your response ready while you were listening," right? You're going to need just 3 seconds, 5 seconds for you to be able to register everything that was said and then be able to share your response. If you rattle off your response like that, chances are you weren't listening to at least the tail end of that. And then another presence practice could be that you have a phone free zone when you're having dinner with your family, or when you're out on a date, or when you're out on a walk. You don't have your phone with you. You're just present in the moment with the people that you're with. So that's what we mean by a presence practice. Okay. So what's a presence practice that you'd love to try with your partner? So the number 1 question was, who makes you feel most seen when you're with them? My guess is going to be, okay, so let's see what Britt says. Britt says, yes, Mel, of course, that's his wife. Beautiful. And let's see, hold on 1 second. Let me go up here. Okay, I'm going to go up here real quick because Pops also said that my problem is I overreact in the moment, then I regret it after. Okay, so here is a really easy way not to regret it. So yes, we want to be, if we're in the moment, now sit with me for a second. If you're in the moment with what's happening and you don't allow yourself to get out of that moment, okay, you probably won't overreact very much. Your overreaction usually comes from you getting out of the moment and going into a past experience and feeling shame or feeling resentment or feeling anger, and then coming back into the moment and responding. But if you're in the moment without any of these other feelings all around it, you're not going to overreact as much. Does that make sense? But if you overreact, and again, this is a perfect time for me to say that I am not a healthcare professional in any way. I am simply your friend. And please take anything that you hear in the show as entertainment or education. But if you hear anything that you're like, oh, yeah, you know what? I need to use this. If it makes sense, take it to your therapist, take it to your family doctor, take it to your healthcare professional, and make sure that you're using common sense when you're using these things, right? So, but if you are overreacting and then you almost immediately regret it after, what you can simply do is put your tail between your legs, go back into the conversation and say, you know what, I really regret me saying that. I said that because, and say why do you regret it? You regret it because you didn't mean it, because you were speaking out of shame, or you were speaking out of fear, or, and just get honest with what happened and go back to that person and have that conversation. That will, it might not eliminate your regret, but it sure will clean it up a little bit. So that's just a quick little tip on that. So the first one was, who makes you feel most seen when you're with them? So Britt says Mel, I say Mike. The number 2 question was, when was the last time you truly listened without interrupting? So what I was about to say when I was reading that question was, that was a really hard one for me. So I don't know, apparently it's part of ADHD that you kind of just like interrupt and you go into it. So I've noticed that over the last couple of years, and I really try to like bite my tongue and just listen. And one of the tricks with that is getting really curious. Curiosity really allows you to stay in the moment because you're kind of hanging on every word, looking at everything, and like with a really curious, like, ooh, okay, what does that mean? What are we saying? And you kind of dig in a little bit deeper. And so you're able to truly listen without interrupting. The last time that I did it, I've been doing pretty good with it. I feel there's probably like a lot of times throughout the day that I don't do it, but there's also a lot of times throughout the day that I do it. I guess the last time that I did it was when I was just at a client meeting and we were talking about the kitchen, and I just listened to a lot of the things that they were saying without interrupting. Because what I've also found is when you interrupt, yeah, it's nice for you to be able to like show that you know something, or hey, listen to me, or thinking that you're bonding with somebody because it's like, oh, me too. But it stops people in their thought process of what they're trying to tell you. There's a lot of times that people are saying something, they're talking to you, and if you interrupt them, they stop, right? And now you shift gears of where the interaction is going to go. If you let them talk, they'll come around and you'll get so much more out of it, you know? So that's the last time that I did it. The third one is, what's a presence practice you'd love to try with a partner or a friend? The thing that I really want to, oh, I don't know if you heard that. I'm wearing a little mic. Thanks. Mike's dad, Tim, gave it to me, and I'm hoping it's making a difference. Anyway, the presence practice that I want to be using is the 3-second pause before responding. I've been trying to do that. I've been really trying to like think about what's being said before I give my response. But I tend to like, okay, let's go. Like I'm very solutions oriented. But that 3-second pause just feels good because it also allows everything to kind of download and give a better response, or a more true response. And Britt, I feel like if you did that more often, that overreaction might not happen as much, right? So, when was the last time that you truly listened without interrupting? Britt says Mel. And then the last question where it says, what's a presence practice you'd love to try with a partner or a friend? He said, being in a place where both of us are present and connecting. That's beautiful. Well, maybe you guys should keep like a date night where you just do that. I think Mel would probably love that. And just have a connecting um, presence party where you just maybe sit on the couch and just gaze into each other's eyes without saying anything. Um, Very uncomfortable the first time you do it, but it might be something cool. He also said, did I just hear a dog bark? No, they're doing dinner right now, so it's probably like you heard like a rapper or something, but no, I don't think there was a dog. Unless there was a dog outside, the window's open, so maybe you did. I didn't hear one though, I don't think. So, anyway, okay. So that is it. I'm going to kind of wrap up here. I did want to let you guys know that, so underneath here, you can see school.com/happy school. So school.com is SKOOL, and then happy school is like regular school, SCHOOL. I really want you guys to come on over. It is free. And there's a lot of really good things, good conversations happening in there. It's really becoming like a friend circle. It's so cool. We have people right now. So there's not a lot of us. We're just in the beginnings of it. So if you come in, it's going to be like a founder. You're going to be able to really like kind of create part of the direction of this group. But we have people from all over the states. So California, Florida, Texas, Michigan, Toronto, so all through Ontario, in Canada. We also have people from Malta, from the UK, and from Australia so far. So it is pretty cool. Quite a few of the people that have joined, I don't even know them. So they're not from the show and they're not from my social media circle. So it's really, really cool. We're building a community of people that are just looking to really practice their happy. And the conversations have been really, really, really great in there. So if you are able, come on over. There's an app that you can have right on your phone, make it super easy. And I'd love you to come and see us in between shows there. And then I will see you on Wednesday live here, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, or whatever the equivalent is for you for next week's show. And next week is going to be the last week of the Happy Now series. And we're going to be talking about the pillar youthfulness. So make sure you bring a friend, come on back, and I will see you next week or in Happy School. Love you guys. Bye. Aw, thanks, Britt. You have a great week too. Okay, bye-bye.